Every single morning, the world hands you 24 hours, clean, untouched, pure potential, and every single night you trade it for comfort, noise, and opinions that do not matter. You think you have time. You think tomorrow is guaranteed. But while you sit there waiting for the right moment, someone else is taking your dream, building it, and living it in front of your face. Most people walk through life as spectators of their own existence. They wake up reactive. They check their phones before their eyes are even fully open. They let the notification bell decide their mood, their priorities, and their destination. They are exhausted, not because they are doing too much, but because they are doing too little of what actually sets their soul on fire. They want the outcome, but they despise the process. They want the applause, but they refuse to work in the dark. Look at your hands. Look at your life right now. Is this truly the absolute best you can do? Or are you just settling because being comfortable feels safer than being powerful? Listen closely. The world does not care about your potential. The world only respects your execution. There is a massive, quiet difference between being busy and being effective. You spend your days running around, reacting to everyone else's urgency, answering calls, scrolling through curated lives, answering emails that will not matter in 5 years, and then you sit down at night wondering why you feel so empty. You feel empty because you traded your ultimate power for temporary distraction. You traded your vision for instant dopamine. You are letting 24 precious hours bleed out, one wasted minute at a time. Imagine standing in a room full of people. Everyone is talking. Everyone is shouting for attention. Everyone is trying to prove how important they are. Now imagine a person walks into that same room, speaks not a single word, yet every head turns. Why? Because true power does not make noise. True presence is felt, not heard. High-value individuals do not chase attention. They build a reality so undeniable that the world cannot help but pay attention. Most people believe that to win, you have to tell everyone your plans. You post your goals on social media. You tell your friends what you are going to do next month. You seek validation for ideas that haven't even been executed yet. And every time you open your mouth to announce your vision, you release the exact energy you needed to execute it. You get a cheap hit of fake pride before you even lay the first brick. Stop talking. Start building. The most dangerous version of you is the one that goes completely silent and simply executes. The version of you that doesn't explain, doesn't justify, and doesn't seek permission. The version of you that takes those 24 hours, locks the door on the outside world, and goes to work in the shadows. When you look at Priyanka Chopra, or any icon who has broken through impossible boundaries, you don't see someone who waited for a lucky break. You see someone who mastered their time, owned their room, and refused to play small in a world that demands women and men to shrink. She did not ask for a seat at the table. When there was no seat, she brought her own chair. She understood that time is the ultimate equalizer. The billionaire has 24 hours. The person struggling to pay rent has 24 hours. The difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary legacy isn't talent. It isn't luck. It is how fiercely you protect and command the 24 hours in front of you. Here is the part they don't tell you. Mastering your time is not about buying a fancy planner or setting 10 different alarms. It is an act of deep psychological warfare against your own weakness. It is deciding that your purpose is more important than your comfort. It is realizing that every single choice you make during your waking hours is either building your dream or building someone else's. So how do you take back control? How do you step into a space where your presence is magnetic, your time is protected, and your momentum is unstoppable? You must master the 3 pillars of high-value energy. The first pillar is the art of ruthless elimination. You cannot build a cathedral if you are constantly picking up trash. Look at your typical day. How many hours are spent on things that add 0 value to your future self? How many conversations are you having out of polite obligation? How many times do you say yes to people when your entire soul is screaming no? High-value individuals protect their time like a fortress. They know that every time they say yes to something trivial, they are saying no to their greatness. If it does not build your mind, grow your bank account, elevate your spirit, or bring deep peace to your life, it must be eliminated. You need to develop a sacred disrespect for anything that distracts you from your main mission. When you walk into a day with absolute clarity on what matters and what doesn't, something shifts within you. You stop rushing. Rushing is a sign of weakness. Rushing means you are reacting to the clock. Power moves with steady, deliberate steps. Power takes its time because it owns its time. Start cutting away the noise. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel inadequate. Cut off the toxic ties that drain your mental energy. Say no without offering an elaborate excuse. No is a complete sentence. The moment you begin to respect your own boundaries, the world will have no choice but to respect them too. But there is a catch. Eliminating distractions is only half the battle. You can clear your schedule completely and still accomplish nothing if you have not mastered the internal game. That brings us to the second pillar. The command of inner stillness. Look around you today. We live in an era of hyperstimulation. People are terrified of silence. The moment there is a gap of 5 seconds in a room, someone reaches for a phone. The moment they sit alone with their thoughts, anxiety creeps in. So they drown it out with music, podcasts, scrolling, and endless chattering. They are addicted to noise because noise prevents them from facing the truth of their current reality. If you cannot sit alone in a quiet room for 30 minutes without touching a screen, you are not free. You are controlled. Magnetic presence is born in quiet solitude. When you train yourself to be comfortable in the quiet, you cultivate an aura of groundness that cannot be shaken by external chaos. You become the eye of the storm. When others panic, you observe. When others react emotionally, you analyze strategically. Think about how you handle your mornings. Do you launch out of bed in a state of panic, scrambling to catch up with the day? Or do you create an untouchable space where you set the tone before the world even knows you are awake? High-value mindsets are built in the quiet hours. When you wake up before the rest of the world, when you sit in silence, reflect, map your day, and move your body, you send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind. I am in control of my destiny. Silence is where your intuition speaks. Silence is where brilliant strategy is birthed. When you stop talking about what you are going to do and instead sit silently with your ideas, those ideas refine themselves. They become sharp. They become dangerous. When you finally speak, your words carry the weight of quiet preparation. People listen not because you spoke loudly, but because you spoke with conviction born from internal stillness. Yet, most people get this wrong. They think that mastering time and holding inner stillness means becoming rigid, cold, or distant. They think it means living like a hermit and shutting out the world entirely. That is a trap. True high-value energy is not about isolation, it is about intentionality. Which brings us to the third and most critical pillar, the standard of relentless execution. It does not matter how grand your vision is if your daily habits are weak. You can write down your goals 1,000 times, you can visualize success until your head hurts, but if you do not step up and do the cold, hard, unglamorous work, you will remain exactly where you are. Execution is the ultimate filter. It separates the dreamers from the achievers. The world is overflowing with talented dreamers who never accomplished anything because they lacked the discipline to show up every single day. They worked hard when they felt inspired, but the moment the feeling faded, they stopped. High-value individuals do not rely on feelings. They rely on standards. When you operate on standards, it does not matter if you are tired. It does not matter if it is raining. It does not matter if you don't feel like it. You do the work because that is simply who you are. You do not negotiate with your alarm clock. You do not negotiate with your excuses. You set a standard for your life, and you hold yourself accountable to that standard with terrifying consistency. Imagine applying this focus to your 24 hours for just 6 months. 6 months of total, uncompromising dedication. 6 months of moving in complete silence, no announcements, no flexing on social media, no asking for applause, just quiet, relentless execution day after day. You would not even recognize the person looking back at you in the mirror. Your posture would change, your voice would change, your bank account would change, your relationships would change. You would carry a quiet confidence that only comes from knowing you kept every single promise you made to yourself. Now, take a hard look at where we are right now. Look at the calendar. Look at the year. We are standing in the middle of 2026. Time is accelerating at a pace humanity has never seen before. The world is shifting faster than ever. Old rules are breaking down. The middle ground is disappearing entirely. You are either stepping into your ultimate power or you are getting left behind. There is no longer room for mediocrity. Being average is a direct sentence to being forgotten. What are you going to do with the remaining hours of this year? Are you going to look back 6 months from now with deep regret, wishing you had started today? Or are you going to draw a line in the sand right now and declare that your era of passive living is officially over? Every second that ticks by is a second you will never get back. You cannot pause time. You cannot buy more time. You can only decide how you spend the currency you have been given today. If you choose to ignore this truth, nothing will change. You will wake up tomorrow, fall back into your comfortable routines, react to the same meaningless distractions, complain about the same circumstances, and watch life pass you by from the sidelines. You will continue to feel that quiet, agonizing ache in your chest that reminds you that you were meant for so much more, but were too afraid to go out and get it. That is a dangerous way to live. That is how potential dies. Instead, step into the light of your own power. Own your morning, protect your day, move with quiet authority. Let your results make the noise. When you walk into a room, do not try to prove your value. Let your work, your discipline, and your energy speak for you long before you open your mouth. You were not born to blend in. You were not born to merely survive your days and wait for the weekend. You were born to dominate your space, to create a life of profound meaning, and to leave a mark on this world that time itself cannot erase. The clock is ticking. Your 24 hours have already begun. Take control of them. Own your energy. Master your time. If you are ready to stop making excuses, if you are ready to step into your highest potential and claim the energy of an unstoppable force, hit the like button right now. Subscribe to join this movement of high-value minds, and leave a comment below stating, "I am unstoppable." Say it, claim it, and live it starting today.